Thank you for joining me on this lovely Arizona spring day. I'm going to walk you through some of the features on the Cloud Defense Optimized Weapon Light and give you my impression on it. But before we get started, we'd like to thank our video sponsor, TNVC. If you like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff, take a look at our sponsor, TNVC.com, your source for quality night vision gear to make you the bump in the night. So you'll note that I'm talking about a flashlight while it's a bright sunny day. While I'm doing that, through the magic of recorded video, you will see me operating this light in dark conditions. Have no fear, I don't yet have the power to blot out the sun at will, although I do plan to continue my work in that field. No, you are simply witnessing events that occurred prior to this moment. I know, mind-blowing. As the name suggests, the optimized weapon light is designed from the ground up as an illumination tool intended to be mounted to a weapon. It has an integrated mount and pressure pad switch. The center portion of the light body is attached to the mount, and you can remove and swap the front and rear portions so that you can mount it on either side of a rail. That way, people who use the devil's hand can still operate the light comfortably. The rear of the light extends only slightly past the mount, so a person can operate the light with either hand if needed. I found that to be a bit of an awkward reach for my tiny little Vizini thumbs, but it can be done. The packaging has this sort of pro-grade retro look to it that makes it look like it would be right at home in an HVAC technician's toolbox. I know it's kind of superficial, but I'm really over the whole bleeding edge techno-tactical look that's developed over the last few years in a feedback loop between the gun world and the gaming industry. Guys who design gun widgets seem to play a lot of Titanfall and Killzone, not that there's anything wrong with that. And the people who design video games seem to be taking cues from real-world design of guns like the Kriss Vector. The plastic case the OWL comes in doesn't look like any of that ultra-modern stuff, and I kind of like that. The case also contains a Nitecore charger and two Sanyo 18650 batteries. The pink one is intended to produce the maximum possible light output, and the red one is intended to run slightly longer. The charger has this cool digital display that tells you a lot more about what the battery is doing than a simple green LED. Is the light on when it's charging or when the battery is finished charging? The light itself is kind of a chonk. It's heavy and bulky compared to some other lights, but it's worth noting that the weight also includes a mount. And the thing is built like a tank. The 1/10 of an inch thick lens looks like it would be pretty hard to break, but it can be replaced in the field if you should need to. The front and the rear are connected to the main section with these three chunky locking lugs. The rear of the light has a tool for tightening the mounting screw. There aren't any polarity markings on the light, so you have to RTFM to find out that the positive always needs to be on the bright end. Once you get her mounted and juiced up, the pressure switch that's integral to the mount will turn it on in constant mode with a quick tap and release, or it'll work as momentary if you hold the switch for more than a quarter second before releasing it. I've mentioned before, I'm not fond of the tap for constant mode. I want momentary only on a weapon light. If constant is available at all, I want it to be a separate switch and a big discrete action like on the M951. But I'm humble enough to know what opinions are like, and I can see that this is gaining popularity among other end users. Whatever your opinion on the way the switch works, the light is indeed quite bright, but more importantly for a weapon light, the spot is focused very tightly. You can see here that it was still pretty easy to identify and shoot targets at night from insert distance. This light has an impressive throw to it, which matters a lot more than the base lumens. That said, we've all been talking about lumens longer than candela when it comes to flashlights, so lumens might give you a little better understanding of how bright it is because that might be what you're comfortable with. Remember that lumens are a measurement of the total light output from the LED, irrespective of how efficiently that light is used. In this case, the manufacturer claims 1250 lumens, which is pretty respectable, but like I said, it's a lot more important what the reflector does with the light produced, and this reflector produces a narrowly focused spot. Cloud Defensive says the OWL produces 50,000 candela, which is a measurement of the light projected in the direction of the target. The color temperature looks almost purple comparing to most other LED lights I've used. The manufacturer claims that this frequency of light is better because science-y stuff about Photon torpedoes and whatnot. They say you can go scuba diving with it down to 200 feet and come back to get it the next day and it should still work. I can't test it down to 200 feet, but I did toss it in my rain barrel for a couple of days and it was just fine. Everything about this light is designed for people who actually use the ever-loving dog snot out of their rifles. It's overbuilt, professional, shows insane attention to detail, and it's American made. In a word, premium. So it isn't cheap. The top few search results for the Owl produced listings for about $350. When you consider that this unit includes batteries, charger, tape switch, and a mount that you might have to buy separately with other lights, that price isn't really crazy, but it is understandable for people to ask whether the value offered by this light is consistent with the price. In other words, is it worth it? As always, I can't tell you that answer for you. Your needs and priorities are different from mine. There are a lot of other choices out there, so I can't say whether I would buy this for my next light, but I can tell you that I appreciate that it's made in America. So a high quality, American-made light that comes with a bunch of extras that can be had for under $400? Yeah, I think the price is consistent with the value, but that only answers part of your question. You didn't ask me if you should buy this, but when people ask, is it worth it? What they're really asking is, do you think I should buy this? And that's harder to answer. It's easy enough for me to say that you get your money's worth with this light. It's harder for me to say whether the switch setup, size, weight, and all the other factors are a good fit for what you're going to do with it. To that end, I hope I've given you enough information for you to make an informed buying decision. In the event that I miss something, please leave a comment down below and I will do my level best to answer your questions. If you like watching videos about guns and you don't hate capitalism, please consider participating in the free market by visiting our sponsor TNVC. Flashlights let you see when it's dark. Night vision lets you see in the dark. Or, if you like what we do and want to support us more directly, you might find a shirt you can't live without on our Teespring store. But you don't owe us a damn thing. We're just grateful you watched all the way to the end of our video. Thank you for supporting us. I love you.